After 6 years together. Already engaged. We broke up. I wanted to break up after every fight. But I never said it. I was too afraid. This time. Finally, I said it. He just stared for a moment, then said dismissively, "So, you're sure you want to break up? Fine. Just don't come begging me to take you back." I couldn't speak. I just nodded forcefully, tears streaming down my face. In the 6th year of my relationship with Julian Jiang, we broke up. I was the one who initiated it. It started when I saw him bring a new intern from his company home. When she got out of the car, she was wearing the jacket I kept in his car for him. I was standing outside our residential complex, watching his car pull up. I thought he was coming back to pick me up for the concert. I was happy for a moment, and then a sweet, lovely girl got out of the car. It was raining lightly, and she was wearing his jacket. The baseball jacket I had put there for him in case he got cold. The girl had bright features and a petite figure. She was his type. The sweet girl. And her face looked so much like Ophelia Wen's. Being so small, the man's jacket made her look even more delicate. She waved at him from outside the car, and he sat inside, smiling at her warmly. His smile was so bright, so warm, just like it always used to be. I thought about it, and it seemed I had fallen in love with him because of that smile. I had always believed that love was about being special, about being favored. But with Julian, I felt like I had never experienced that. After the girl left, I waved at him. He drove the car over and parked by the curb. I opened the door and sat in the passenger seat. The car was filled with a cloying sweetness. Not too strong, not too subtle, just a perfect, sweet fragrance. It wasn't my perfume, and it wasn't his. He turned the steering wheel and said, "Aren't you off today? What are you doing out at this time?" I said calmly, "Weren't we supposed to go to the Philharmonic concert? Or did you forget completely after seeing that sweet girl?" His brow furrowed. "I've had a long day. Why are you being so passive, aggressive the moment you see me? Am I wrong?" I asked, staring into his eyes. He was getting impatient. "Is your brain only filled with romance and drama? Camille is a new intern at the company. She lives in the complex next to ours. It was on the way. What are you thinking about all day?" His impatience was undisguised. I watched the endless stream of traffic and fell silent. "Let's go back. I don't want to go to the concert anymore." He didn't reply, just drove directly to the underground garage. When we got home, he ignored me and just watched TV in the living room. I looked at him sitting on the sofa. I knew he felt guilty. He knew he was wrong. And he was feeling guilty. Only when he felt guilty could he not stand the silence. He would turn on the TV, trying to fill the house with some noise. I knew him better than I knew myself. Sometimes I hated myself for knowing him so well. It was better to be blissfully ignorant than painfully aware. This time, I didn't numb myself as I usually did. I just took out my suitcase and started packing. The things in my hand were suddenly snatched away by Julian. His face was dark as he said, "What on earth do you want? You wanted to go to the concert. I'd take you. You don't want to go. We come home. What do you want me to do?" "Claire Wong, can you stop being so unreasonable? She's just a regular colleague. Can't I have a normal social life? I've never interfered with your..." "Julian, let's break up." I interrupted him softly. He was stunned. "What did you say?" He seemed to find me completely unreasonable, his face a mask of disbelief. Then he sighed. "Claire, you know my personality. I never go back on my word. If we break up, there's absolutely no chance of getting back together. Are you sure? Don't come crawling back to me like a dog." You see, he was so cruel. He knew how much I loved him. Yet he could still say such hurtful things with a straight face. He was gentle and kind to everyone else. But with me, he was always so careless with his words. He always knew exactly what to say to hurt me. Just like now, the stabbing pain in my heart was so intense that tears welled up in my eyes before I could even speak. I looked up at him, my vision blurred by tears. Through them, he still seemed to be surrounded by the same halo as when we first met. I wiped my tears and said, choking back sobs, "I'll explain things about the engagement party to my parents. You can talk to your parents. The house, the car, and some cash. After deducting the costs of the engagement party and other losses, we'll split everything 50-50. If you have any other issues, we can discuss them." Julian fell silent. He stared at me, unmoving, and said coldly, "What? in such a hurry to draw the line. Found someone new outside. Claire Wong. Let me tell you, if you walk out that door today, we're done for good. Think it through. I didn't answer him. I just picked up the things that had fallen on the floor, one by one. Like my shattered pride. Julian's face grew even colder. He kicked the suitcase on the floor and roared. Get out. Get the hell out right now. Whoever begs to get back together is the damn loser. I silently packed my things. He slammed the door to the guest room. I heard the sound of things being smashed outside the door. I slid down the wall, and tears blurred my vision. How did it come to this? I thought we would be happy forever. I fell for Julian at first sight. At the time, my best friend, Scarlett, had dragged me into joining a student club. During a game at the club's welcome party, a spun beer bottle pointed at me, and I had to sing a song on the spot. I was completely tone deaf. My face flushed red as I held the microphone and sang the first off keynote. Julian's voice drowned out mine. He held a microphone and smiled at me. His pitch was even worse than mine. I thought he was as tone deaf as I was. It wasn't until much later that I learned he had a beautiful singing voice. That time, he was just helping me out. And just like that, Julian, the boy who held the microphone and was booed for his terrible singing, took up residence in my heart. I started bumping into him everywhere. The sports field, the cafeteria, the library. I actively participated in club activities. Wherever he was, I was there. The entire department knew I liked him, but no one knew who he liked. He seemed to treat everyone the same. Until after graduation, when our department's beauty, Ophelia 1, went abroad. That was the first time I saw him lose control. He cried like a child and said to me, Claire, what do I do? What do I do? She's gone. That was the first time he had ever hugged me. But it was for someone else. From then on, he smiled more. And he was more considerate to people. And we started dating. After graduation, he worked very hard. In 6 years, he became a regional director. In 6 years, he never gave me a promise. The engagement, perhaps, was just a matter of time. I knew he and Ophelia were still in touch. But what could I do? They had never dated, never crossed any lines. But I just couldn't get over it. They were like a thorn in my heart. Impossible to pull out, impossible to dissolve. I once naively thought that as long as I was with him, I would be happy no matter what. How stupid. His emotions were always tied to Ophelia, even if it was just someone who looked like her. I moved my things back home. My parents both told me not to be so willful. After breaking up, where would I find someone as outstanding as him? 2 days at home, and I was already worn out by my parents' nagging. I hadn't rested well at all. Today, as I sat down at the table, the smell of steamed sea bass made me nauseous. I vomited non-stop, nearly throwing up bile. My parents exchanged a look. Claire, you're not pregnant, are you? No. I just haven't been sleeping well lately. That afternoon, I bought a pregnancy test. Staring at the 2 lines, my heart felt a momentary flutter. Then, an overwhelming wave of grief washed over me. My fingers trembled as I touched my lower abdomen. How absurd. We were together for 6 years and I never got pregnant. We break up, and now I find out I'm pregnant. But what do I do? Baby, it seems your daddy doesn't love us. Before I could figure out what to do, I got a call from Julian. Claire, are you pregnant? Yes, I replied calmly. We hadn't contacted each other at all during this time. He couldn't have known about my situation. The only possibility was that my parents knew and had contacted him. What are you going to do? His voice came from the other end. Heh, what am I going to do? What do you think? I laughed lightly, then continued. Don't worry, there won't be a baby. In a month, it will be gone. I'm not keeping it. Why are you being so extreme? There was nothing between us. It was just a ride home. I hung up before he could finish. Was I being too extreme? Before we broke up, I had hoped so much that we could have a child. I had fantasized that if we had a girl, I would dress her up as a little princess. If we had a boy, I would dress him up as a little prince. Now, it seemed that fantasies were just fantasies, never to become reality. Looking back, I guess I was that pathetic. Love struck female lead. The first year of our relationship, we had just graduated. While others broke up after graduation, we started dating. Even though I knew in my heart that he was a rebound, that he was only with me because Ophelia had left, I still felt happy. After all, I had been in love with him for 4 years, from freshman year to graduation. In the beginning of our relationship, I didn't dare to show him all my love. I was afraid of scaring him away. I paid attention to all his updates, remembered all his preferences. Despite being 6 feet tall, he loved jelly, was afraid of mice, didn't eat organ meats, and disliked anything with a fishy smell. He loved gaming. When he was just an intern with no money, I saved up to buy him a Logitech keyboard and mouse as a surprise. He loved One Piece. I saved up to buy him merchandise. Back then, whenever I was out shopping, he was the first thing that came to my mind. I wanted to give him the best of everything in the world. Just as I was lost in thought, a knock on the door pulled me back. It was my mom's voice. "Claire, time for dinner." I touched my face. It was cold and wet. I hadn't realized when the tears had started to fall. The dinner table was silent. After a while, my mom spoke. "I think Julian is a good man, good family, respectful to his elders, and treats you well. Look, you're pregnant now. Don't be so difficult." "Did you two tell him I'm pregnant?" I asked calmly, picking up some food with my chopsticks. My parents were silent. After a long while, my dad finally spoke. "Isn't this all for your own good? Look at your age. You're pregnant now. If this engagement is called off, where are you going to find another husband like him?" I really didn't want to cry, but the tears just wouldn't stop falling. My voice cracked. "Even if I'm not happy after we get married, does that not matter? How could you not be happy? He has a house and a car, a good job, and he's a good-looking man. How could it be bad? If you're not happy, it's your problem," my dad roared, slamming his chopsticks on the table. My mom rushed to pull him back. "Just talk nicely. Why are you getting so angry?" She then turned to me. "Claire, your parents have been through this. It's normal for couples to have bumps in the road. Even the tongue and teeth clash sometimes. If it's not a big deal, just let it go, right? Your father and I are just looking out for you." I interrupted my mom through my tears. "The house and car. We bought them together. His family background is the same as ours, isn't it?" "Oh, he's an only son. And I have a younger brother." "Mom, Dad, you're not trying to sell your daughter to pay for my brother's wedding, are you?" "I've already discussed it with him. You two don't need to worry about it. If you think I'm an eyesore living here, I'll move out right now." With that, I stood up and left the table. Clatter. A pair of chopsticks hit my back, followed by my dad's furious voice. "Get out. And once you're out, never come back. Now that your wings have grown, you won't even listen to me." I closed the door and let out a bitter laugh. I looked around. The home I had lived in for over a decade now felt incredibly strange. How strange. In just a few days, the 2 men I considered most important in my life had both told me to get out. When did I realize my parents didn't love me that much? Probably when they were always saying they loved me more. But all the family's resources, the house, the money, were all being planned for my brother. Time and time again, my heart went from a sharp, stabbing pain to a dull ache. I had already seen it clearly, so why did my heart still feel anything? I used to see posts online about issues with one's family of origin, and I always felt lucky that my parents treated my brother and me equally. But the terrifying thing was, it wasn't until I was an adult, in my mid-20s, that I slowly realized all of that was a facade. My parents' love was just a way to numb me, to make me a better contributor to my brother's future. I was lost. It felt like I was walking alone in a thick fog, unable to see the path behind me or the road ahead. In the 4th year of our relationship, we made a down payment on a house together. In this city, we had a home of our own. During that time, we would go to furniture stores every weekend. From big items like sofas and mattresses to small things like toothbrushes and cups. We chose everything together. A year later, we moved into our new home. It was only after living together that I realized he was a really good person. He was clean and had good living habits. He put things back where he found them, and everything was neatly organized. When I washed clothes after work, he would hang them up on proper hangers without me even asking. When I cooked, he would always wait for me to eat together, and then he would clean the kitchen and take out the trash. We never fought over living habits. He was always so considerate and detailed. But I felt like there was an invisible film between us. He seemed to be considerate, gentle, and detailed with everyone. Did that mean that if it wasn't me, he could live just as well with anyone else? It wasn't that he couldn't live without me. He could be with anyone. But it seemed I couldn't be with anyone but him. From the beginning of our relationship, we agreed not to look at each other's phones, to respect each other's privacy. Later, when I sensed the subtlety in our relationship, I still didn't dare to confront him, just deceiving myself into thinking I was being too sensitive. But the facts told me I wasn't being sensitive. On our 5th anniversary, he prepared a candlelight dinner at home, bought me roses, and gave me a signed album from my favorite band. After drinking some champagne, I felt a little dizzy. He went to clean the kitchen. His phone was on the table, unlocked. From my angle, I could clearly see a pinned chat with the contact name, Ophelia 1. I was a little confused. Why was my head so dizzy? Yet I could see so clearly. Perhaps those 3 words had been carved into my heart all along, and I had just been deliberately ignoring them. I numbly picked up the phone. I could hear the sound of water running in the kitchen, but my heart was as still as a stagnant pond. My finger kept scrolling down the screen. I don't know if it was my imagination, but this long chat history seemed even longer than the one between me and Julian, the legitimate couple. I didn't cry, but my eyes couldn't see the content of the chat clearly. I tried my best to read their conversation. There was no ambiguity, but they were constantly sharing their joys and sorrows with each other. Just now, she was sharing the joy of her promotion, and he had replied with a cute, "Good job" emoji. Suddenly, a pain spread from my heart. It was indescribable, inexpressible. It felt like a giant stone wheel was slowly grinding back and forth over me, over and over, bloody and excruciating. It was as if a hole had been punched through my heart. A sudden, sharp pain. That pain seemed to have accumulated over thousands of days and nights, starting as a small prickle, a sourness, a numbness, and slowly spreading, seeping into my organs, finally becoming a large, bloody hole, with a cold wind blowing through it, making me cold to the bone. I silently put the phone back and staggered to the bedroom, but I heard his voice from behind me. "Claire, wait for me to help you wash up before you sleep. Otherwise, you'll be uncomfortable later." I turned my head groggily and looked at him, unsure if everything that had just happened was a hallucination. The next morning, I forgot how I had fallen asleep the night before. I just pretended nothing had happened. Looking back on everything, it seemed the current outcome was my own doing. I numbly packed the few remaining things I had in this home. I booked a hotel room on my phone. As I was leaving with my suitcase, my mom tried to persuade me, but my dad roared at her to let me go, that I would learn my lesson the hard way. She then fell silent. At the hotel, I got a call from my best friend, Scarlett. "Claire, did you have a fight with Julian?" "Not a fight. A breakup." I hadn't even finished when she cut me off. "Where are you now? Are you at home? What did your parents say? Why don't you come to my place?" "I'm alone anyway, Scarlett." I burst into tears. She was my middle school classmate. Her family had a severe preference for sons over daughters. She always told me you can't rely on anyone but yourself. After graduating from college, she worked like crazy and finally bought a small 2-bedroom apartment a couple of years ago. At that time, she told me she would always be my safe harbor. "What are you crying for? Where are you? I'm coming to get you." My tense, exhausted nerves seemed to snap. I sobbed out the address. She just said decisively, "Wait for me. I'm on my way." My mind was blank as I huddled on the sofa in the room. I don't know how long passed before I heard a knock on the door. "Claire, open up. It's me." As soon as she entered, she grabbed me and started talking non-stop. "What's wrong with you? You look like you've lost your soul." "What happened?" "Scarlett, Julian and I broke up, but I'm pregnant." She froze for a moment before saying, "Are you going to keep it?" "No." "All right then. Come to my place. I'll take care of you." Before we could leave, Scarlett's phone rang. She answered, her voice full of fire. "Julian, I don't care what happened between you and Claire, but she doesn't want to be with you anymore. You'd better stay the hell away from me and stop being so damn annoying." I don't know what he said on the other end, but she exploded. "Get lost. There are plenty of men in the world. You think Claire can't live without you? Get lost." After yelling at him, Scarlett decisively hung up. She deftly grabbed my things, and we drove to her place. Go take a shower and get some sleep. I'll make you some congee. I can tell from the look of you that you haven't been sleeping lately, she said, putting down my things. I nodded and went into the master bedroom. After showering, I lay down on the bed. The familiar scent of her wrapped around me. For the first time since the breakup, I slept well. When I woke up, it was already evening. I sat up on the edge of the bed. The dim yellow light shone through the window. It was quiet all around, as if I were the only person in the world. A nameless sense of loneliness enveloped my heart, making it hard to breathe. You're awake. Come out and eat something. What are you doing just sitting there? I've asked for 2 days off for you at the company. I'll be with you for these 2 days. But after that, I have a project to go check on. So you'll have to stay alone for a while. Scarlett's voice came from behind me, as if breaking an invisible barrier, and fresh air rushed in. At dinner, I asked her blankly, Scarlett, why are you so good to me? She looked at me like I was an idiot. Aren't you good to me? When I had nowhere to live, didn't you let me stay at your place? When I was short on money for my down payment, didn't you transfer the money to me without a second thought? When I was heartbroken, weren't you the one who helped me through it? I didn't speak, just stared at her blankly. She took a sip of her congee and said, Claire, don't doubt yourself because of one man. You are a good person. You're beautiful. You have a good personality. You're respectful to your family. You care about your friends. You're sincere with your partner. And you work hard. Julian failed you. It's his loss, not your problem. He will never find someone who loves him like you do again. Don't doubt yourself. It's not your fault. He's not worthy. I don't know why, but looking at her, I suddenly remembered the first time I went to Julian's house to meet his parents. We had been dating for exactly a year. When we arrived, his dad was playing mahjong, and his mom was doing cross-stitch in the living room. I took out the gifts I had bought for them with a month-and-a-half salary. A gold necklace that cost almost $4,000, and a bottle of liquor that was over $500. His dad didn't move from the mahjong table. His mom, seeing the gifts, got up, cleared the table, and brought out some fruit. I sat on the sofa, at a loss for what to do. At the dinner table, his mom kept talking to me. She said Julian was a very simple child, devoted to people, with a good temper and a straightforward personality. She said he couldn't take care of himself and that I would need to look after him a lot in the future. If anything happened, she asked me to be more tolerant. After dinner, he said to me, my mom, she's just soft-hearted and speaks her mind. She has no ill intentions. She's just straightforward and not good at socializing. If she said anything unpleasant, don't take it to heart. Both of them, in their own ways, were implying that it would always be my fault. They were just being straightforward and not good at socializing. When we left the next day, his mom was at an event for seniors. We didn't see her again. His dad made us a meal at home. 3 dishes: beer, braised duck, potato with twice cooked pork, and pan-fried tofu. When I left, there were no gifts, no red envelope. I didn't think much of it at the time, but now, looking at the 4 hot dishes, 1 cold dish, and 2 kinds of pickles on the table, I finally understood. It wasn't that they were straightforward or not good at socializing. It was just that I wasn't worthy. As we were eating, the doorbell rang. Scarlett went to open the door. As soon as it opened, I heard her angry voice. You still have the nerve to come here. Get out. Then came Julian's voice. Scarlett, Claire is pregnant. Do you really want her to be a single mother? Let me in. Let's talk properly. The argument was giving me a headache. I had to put down my chopsticks and say to Scarlett, Scarlett, let him in. We'll talk. We sat facing each other in the living room, neither of us speaking. Claire, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't take your feelings into account. He was the first to speak. I just looked at him, still not speaking. He stood up and took the hand that was resting on my knee. Claire, don't be so willful. Okay. Everyone knows we're about to get married. And you're pregnant. 6 years. Now that we have a baby, it's fate, isn't it? I pulled my hand back and stared into his eyes. Julian, do you think I'm being willful and unreasonable? You think you were wrong because you didn't take my feelings into account. So, in the end, it's all my problem. It's because you didn't take my feelings into account that I want to break up with you. He reached for my hand again. No, Claire, No. Let me explain. It's all my fault. Whatever you say is right. Hearing this, Scarlett stormed out of her room, shoved him, and yelled, Julian, who are you trying to disgust? Are you trying to act for my benefit? To paint Claire as an emotionally unstable lunatic. Let me tell you, I've known Claire a lot longer than you have. He quickly tried to explain. Scarlett, that's not what I meant. She pushed him towards the door. I was originally going to let you two talk it out, but now I see there's no need. It's like talking to a brick wall. Get out. Get out now. Claire. Clay. Scarlett pushed him out and slammed the door. Julian was still pounding on the door outside. Scarlett roared, if you pound again, I'm calling the police. The noise outside stopped. I leaned back in my chair, completely drained, my heart aching. Scarlett poured me a glass of water and put it in my hand. See, you're the fool. If I didn't know what was going on between you two, from the way he was talking, anyone who didn't know would think you were the one being unreasonable. I bet your parents were probably fooled by his sweet talk too. To be honest, your parents do favor your brother. But compared to some others, I think they're much better. When you have the chance, you should have a good talk with them. I think they'll understand. Hey, don't cry. I hadn't cried before, but hearing Scarlett's words, the tears flowed like an open faucet. She frantically wiped my face with a tissue. Forget it. Forget it. Just cry. It will be better after this. Your parents will understand eventually. The next day, Scarlett left early for her business trip. I was alone at home. I was in a terrible state. I couldn't sleep at night, and I could only manage a few hours during the day. My sleep was light. The slightest sound would wake me. When I went to work on the third day, the project manager was shocked when he saw my face. He asked me what was wrong, if I was sick from being too busy with wedding preparations, and suggested I take a few days of annual leave. I didn't go into detail, but I really couldn't concentrate on work, so I took the leave. After leaving the company, I thought about it. I had left in a hurry last time and still had some things to pick up. So, I took a taxi back to her home. When I opened the door, the house was as clean and tidy as ever, as if my absence had made no difference. But on closer inspection, there were differences. There were fresh lilies in the vase on the dining table. Julian didn't like flowers, but I liked roses. He used to say I was tacky. In a flash, I remembered his chat history with Ophelia. Ophelia liked lilies. Was she back in the country? A woman's sixth sense is terrifyingly accurate. For some reason, I walked straight to the refrigerator. When I opened it, there were 2 boxes of Swedish chocolates inside. Ophelia was studying in Sweden. Neither Julian nor I were big fans of sweets. We would never buy them for ourselves. So, Ophelia was back, and she had been to her home. My heart was already dead, but my hands still trembled. My lower abdomen ached. I sat on the sofa for a while to recover, then dragged my suitcase to our bedroom. Ha ha ha. I really brought this on myself. Seeing the scene in the bedroom, I sat on the edge of the bed and couldn't help but laugh and cry. On the dresser, where our photos used to fill the top shelf, it was now empty. So, in these 6 years of our relationship, I was the only one who couldn't move on. I pulled open the bottom drawer of the wardrobe. Sure enough, there were layers of our photos. I took a pair of scissors and cut myself out of all the photos, taking the pieces with me. Then I packed all my clothes, makeup, skincare, and other miscellaneous things. The clothes I couldn't wear anymore, I packed up and had the building management take them to the community's clothing recycling bin. I took pictures of everything I had bought for the house that I couldn't take with me. I put the wedding jewelry and the bank card with the dowry money in the bedside table drawer. Before he got home from work, I returned to Scarlett's place. I organized all the receipts and photos, and roughly sorted out our financial situation. The down payment for the house was nearly $600,000. I paid $150,000. He paid the mortgage, and I covered our living expenses. The car cost $160,000. I paid $60,000. The renovation cost nearly $200,000. I spent about $30,000 on furniture and appliances. All in all, I had contributed around $280,000. The engagement party wasn't large, just about 3 tables. The miscellaneous costs were around $20,000. I blocked all his social media accounts, leaving only his email. I made a list and sent him an email. I said if he wanted the house, I wouldn't calculate the appreciation or depreciation. He could just deduct the losses and give me $250,000 in one lump sum. If he didn't want the house, we could sell it and then settle the accounts. He didn't reply. Maybe he didn't see it. Or maybe he didn't want to. I bought a ticket to Dunhuang. Ever since we started dating, I had wanted to see the murals at the Mogao Grottos. In 6 years of dating, we never went. I never thought I would go alone after we broke up. I wandered around Dunhuang for 4 or 5 days. On the second to last day, I planned to see the murals I had always wanted to see. I was staying at a desert hotel. The wind was howling, and I couldn't sleep. I had just managed to fall asleep when I heard a commotion. Run. It's quicksand. Everyone, find something wide to stand on. Run. It was too noisy. I got up, parted the tent flap, and saw a blaze of light outside. It was as bright as day. I had just stepped out of the tent, my foot on the sand, when I felt it give way beneath me, like there was no bottom. My foot sank straight down. A chill ran down my spine. My mind cleared instantly. Quicksand. I turned and quickly pulled out the 2 drawers from the bedside table, placing them under my feet, like ice skating. I rapidly alternated them to slide towards the crowd. I had slid about 10 meters when I was suddenly pushed from behind. I stumbled and fell onto the quicksand. The sand that flew up got into my eyes. Through the blurred pane, I thought I saw Julian rushing towards me frantically. In a daze, I also thought I saw Ophelia pulling at him. Thud. Someone hit my head. As I faded into unconsciousness, I thought, I just wanted to take a trip to clear my head. How did I end up dying? But if my dying vision was of Julian and Ophelia, that was just my bad luck. When I woke up again, I found myself in a hospital bed. My hand was being held tightly. I squeezed, and the person slumped over the bed woke up. It was Julian. When he saw I was awake, he hugged me, so tightly it felt as if I would disappear the next second. His choked voice came from beside my ear. You scared me to death. Really, you scared me to death. When I saw you fall, my heart stopped. It's okay. The baby is gone. We can have another one in the future. As long as you're okay. As long as you're okay. I touched my stomach. The baby was gone. That was for the best. It would save me from another round of heartbreak. Let go of me. We've already broken up, I said coldly. He lifted his head from my shoulder, his eyes red and bloodshot. I didn't agree to break up. We didn't break up. We're engaged. We're about to get married. If you think a wedding is too much trouble, we can just get the license. A destination wedding is also an option. Let go of me, I said, word by word. I didn't agree. I don't agree, he roared, grabbing my shoulders. Who cares if you agree? Who the hell do you think you are? Scarlett's voice came from the doorway. She walked straight to the bed, pulled Julian up, and shoved him to the floor. He seemed to have lost all his strength, collapsing to the ground and muttering, No, I didn't agree. I don't agree. We haven't broken up. Scarlett ignored him and said to me, I asked the doctor. He said since it was an early, natural miscarriage, the impact isn't too bad. I've handled your discharge papers. I'll take you back to my place to recover for a few days. I was still wondering how Scarlett had gotten here. She was packing my things and scolding me. Good thing you still have a brain. You listed me as your emergency contact. A lump formed in my throat, just as tears were about to fall. Scarlett pointed at me. You hold back those useless tears. Who are you putting on that pathetic show for? Anyone who didn't know would think I was the one who died. Get up. We have a plane to catch. I burst out laughing through my tears, wiped my eyes, and went home with Scarlett. I saw Julian when I woke up, so the vision of Ophelia before I passed out wasn't a hallucination either. I wished them a long and happy life together. Who would have thought? For the next 2 weeks or so, Julian seemed to be living downstairs from Scarlett's place. No matter when I left, he was there, waiting at the entrance of the building. I had blocked his phone, his social media, his payment apps, and even his email. He bought a new number to text and call me. He explained that nothing had happened with Ophelia, that he was just accompanying her on a trip. He said he had put away our photos because of a little bit of lingering resentment. Just resentment. But in that moment, he said, he finally knew who was really in his heart. I was fed up. I went downstairs to find him. He stood at the entrance like a statue, his hair messy, his face unshaven. When he saw me, he pulled at his chapped lips in a bitter smile and said, Claire, You're here. His tone was the same as when he used to wait for me after work during the height of our love. My heart ached. I spoke. Julian. Why? Why couldn't two people just love each other and have a good ending? He didn't answer. Just looked at me with pleading eyes. I didn't avoid his gaze and continued. Even if you don't love me, you know me to some extent. Just as I know you. You know we have no future. He suddenly walked up to me and hugged me tightly. A warm tear fell on my neck. Scalding me. He cried. Give me one more chance. Please. Really. It was just resentment. I didn't like her. I didn't love her. I only love you. Claire. I only love you. I'll definitely keep my distance from other women in the future. I'll make you feel completely secure. I shoved him away. See. You know everything. Are all men this disgusting? Julian. Ask yourself. Does Claire Wang love you? Yes. I fucking love you to death. You know that. I collapsed to the ground, crying without any regard for my image. But the Claire Wang who loved you died in that quicksand. Unresolved feelings from your youth. We were together for 6 years. And it couldn't overcome your resentment. In every holiday, every anniversary, every moment we spent together, when you were feeling that resentment, did you ever think of me? No. Never. Forget it. It's like quicksand. The sand you can't hold. You should just let it go. I wiped my tears and stood up. You saw the email. Right. If you have any problems with the financial settlement, we can go over it again. Once it's all clear, we can part amicably. Hearing this, he let go of me, took out a bank card, and gave it to me. There's 300,000 in here. The password is your birthday. If you ever change your mind, I'll always be waiting for you. I went home and told Scarlett about it. She held the bank card and smiled. His conscience isn't completely rotten. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. After that day, he never came to our area again. And he never sent me another message. I don't know what he said to my parents, but they never contacted me about it either. And I acted like I didn't know. Scarlett lent me some money. With my savings and that 300,000, I made a down payment on a small, used 3-bedroom apartment in the complex next to hers. My relationship with my family remained lukewarm. The person I used to see every day, I never saw again. Even though we were in the same city, we never even ran into each other at the restaurants, malls, or movie theaters we used to frequent. Later, I heard from friends that Ophelia was still pursuing Julian, but he hadn't agreed. Even later, an international number would occasionally send me messages. From the tone, it was probably Julian. I didn't reply. I got a new phone number. I am alone now, but I still believe in love. I believe that somewhere in this world, there is a person who can completely understand what I'm trying to say. He won't pretend to be clueless when he knows the truth. He won't have one foot in and one foot out. He won't only know to cherish something after he's lost it. But I'm not forcing it. To have it is my luck. To lose it is my fate. After all, life isn't just about love, is it?